Hello everyone, today I'm going to be making a pencil holder and a pencil holder for the pencil holder. So to start, I cut an angle out of a piece of square stock. I used a hacksaw, and I would say using a hacksaw is like cutting through PVC with dental floss. It works, it just kind of takes in between an eternity and a millennia. I then sanded it with some 80 grit paper, mostly to get the rust off, but also the look of all the sanding scratches going in one direction is cool to me, and I thought it'd be nice. Then I put some 3-in-1 oil to prevent rusting. I cut a little doodad off that you see me putting on here. I lost the clip for that, but it's not a big deal. I thought super glue would hold. It kinda does. I don't know, more on that later. I filed these because I really wanted it to be as even as possible. There you see me trying to use an old can of spray paint. It's not working, so then I get Rust-Oleum. I love Rust-Oleum. You should buy Rust-Oleum. Not sponsored. Spray painting one side first. I put on quite a few really thick coats because I really wanted that nice look to it. Super satisfying. The type of can I had, you could just wave it across in one motion. Here I'm marking out where I want the groove, per se, for the pencil holder. I used a router here, and I marked it with pencil, but it was hard to see, so I ended up getting a pen and just drawing over the lines so I could actually have a better reference of where I was supposed to cut. Routers are fun tools to use. It's quite satisfying to watch the wood slowly get nibbled away. Adjusting the depth very slowly because these are not very good router bits. And this is a pretty small router. I don't want to overheat anything here. Just slowly going deeper and deeper, widening out the slot. Not even getting it close to perfect because I'll come in for the chisel, as you can see me doing here. And this worked pretty well, but at times way too much material was removed. Much more than I wanted due to the grain direction, which was frustrating, but it worked out in the end fine. Here I'm trying to create a deep part at the end so you could push it down and the other side would pop up. It didn't work for some reason. Here I'm marking out where I want the groove for the pencil to go. Of course, sharpening the pencil and using a different pencil to mark out where I wanted the delineator to sit inside of the wood. Then cutting the groove again with a router. It's a pretty fun tool to use. I had to take really small bites again. Sadly, while I was routing, I didn't realize there was a slight problem with the router, which you'll see here. So, as you can see, or you can't see, I really don't know what you can see. There's some scratches here from the screws in the router base. So, the first thing to do is to punish the router by putting it into a very small box. Just letting it know that its feelings are of little importance to me, really demeaning it. The next step is to realize that it's my fault because I was the one that made the router base, and the screws really should not be protruding and scratching the workpiece. After that, I will beg forgiveness of the router for the punishment that it had to endure, then make it feel useless by not using it for the next 4 weeks. I then cleaned up the groove with the chisel. It's sort of like when you know Jimmy DeRust is going to post a new video soon. Just keep on checking, working away, checking again, working away, knowing eventually that it'll happen, just not sure when. So eventually I did get the pencil to fit, and then I started sanding. And the sandpaper that makes ocean waves, it's a bit pricey. probably worth it, but it's really up to the user. They only sell it in certain places, such as Southern California. I also scraped this piece of wood, and these razor blades also make ocean wave crashing noises, and definitely not downloaded from the internet. Yeah. I sanded up to 400 here because I really wanted a nice finish, and this walnut's really pretty as it is. I especially like it when it's dark and the light sawdust goes into the pores, per se, of the wood, and there's just this stark contrast. You can see that a bit here. I think that's the neatest part. I sanded a lot because I really wanted a pretty finish on this wood. I think I went all the way to 800, and then I sanded the finish when I put boiled linseed oil on it to 1500 to make it really smooth. Just sanding. I think they call it sanding because it's very similar to counting grains of sand and levels of interestingness. I put boiled linseed oil on it for a finish because it looks really nice with walnut. It was a bit of a struggle getting it into the grooves, but I have one of these foam brushes that I used, and then I poured the linseed oil into it and just kind of moved it around, and it worked fine. It ended up working well in the end. I do wish that I had sanded it a little bit more on the inside because it ended up being a little bit of a tight fit after all the finish was put there, but it was fine. Say there you see me sanding it with 1500 grit. This is just an aha moment for woodworking projects, is just getting that finish on and just looking at the grain just develop. Here's an excessively dramatic shot of the final usage with enough angle changes to give you a seizure. But overall, I'm really pleased with the final product. Looks really pretty, I think. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next year.